Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Your guy, the top, is in the building. Good morning. Not a very good morning to influencers, though. Let's talk betting, all right? What is betting? Betting is a game of chance. It is where if you decide something will go in a certain direction, and it does, and you placed money, you win, okay? And if it goes on the opposite direction, you lose, but there's someone or something that wins eventually, okay? So either you put money or you don't put money. It's a bet. You know, let's bet I'll race you to that place. There's a reward at the end of it. All right. It's a very addictive game. And it is a billion-dollar industry. It has changed lives, either to the positive or to the negative. And so has everything else. From entertainment to alcohol to everything, even medicine, everything has changed lives, either to the positive or to the negative. All right. So when someone decides to place a bet, it is a gamble, okay? You're not sure if you're gonna make it back, but you're hoping, fingers crossed. So if you get it back, you will say it is a good thing. And that is what has been happening. When someone places a bet and they win, for them, betting is a good thing. When someone else places a bet and it goes the other way and they don't win, now betting is a bad thing, okay? Alrighty. Since time immemorial, people have been placing bets on a number of things, okay? And it still happens until now, okay? And betting in Kenya specifically was being marketed by the old media. That's what we call them nowadays. Terrestrial media. I'm talking about TV, print, radio, billboards, okay? And you go to the casinos. It was happening old school. And then the digital economy came up, and people realized that people are now more on their phones than they're on their TVs and on their radios. And when you get to the digital media, there are people who run this shit. They're called influencers, okay? They're on the digital space. From Snapchat, TikTok, OnlyFans, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, name them, all of them, okay? So what do the investors of betting do? So they decide and say, now we're going to use these people because they're the ones who are talking directly to the people that we want to talk to. All right. So they take a bunch of them. About 75% of influencers online are making their money from betting sites somewhere. Okay. There's always like a betting game, there's a crash game, there's an aviator, there's a game that's gonna be played, there's odds, there's whatever. So majority, like about 75% of influencers make their living out of influencing for betting companies and sites. Okay, so a lot of young people automatically got influenced to get into this space, and some won and some lost. Okay, the same way a lot of young people take alcohol and abuse drugs, and some don't and some do. And the government put regulations on alcohol, the sale of alcohol, and said it should not be sold to people under 18 years, should not be sold at certain spaces, should not be this, should not be that. All right, and it's being followed. All right. And they also sat down and said, okay, now for betting, we also don't want this and this and this and this happen. The whole shebang. And it was being followed. And then the guys in the betting space started fighting with each other. Okay. The big bosses over there. Oh, these guys are making more money than us. Now, for hali wawili wakimenyana, ni nyasi ndo inaumia. All right. So when that started happening up there, there's a lot of issues that were, okay, what do you want us to do? Okay, now let's put a hold on it because it's going to get messy and everything. And when those two fahalis are fighting, every other person is suffering the consequences. Okay? And because the government, most of the time, we know them, they don't like to do due diligence. It's just, I'll be paid at the end of the month. Let me just sign this thing. Let's pass it over. Let's move into another thing. They don't take time to calculate, think, rethink, re-strategize, come up with better ways to regulate betting or gambling, as you'd call it. Okay? So what do? They throw over a blanket and say, hey, we are suspending this thing for a month. That was a month ago. We're gonna figure out what's gonna happen. So they say nobody's gonna market nothing on that concerns betting, and guys comply, and all our contracts are cancelled for about a month, and a lot of influencers suffered. They were like, yo, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? Everybody's on the edge. Alrighty. And then about a few days ago, they do a memo. And the memo now says there's no use of influencers in advertisements. Okay? There's no use of influencers in advertisements. So that means if there's an advert, okay, an influencer should not be in it. So this is someone who worked hard in their life so they can become influential, so they can use their influence to make money and take care of their families. But now they've gotten the influence, you're taking the bread off their mouth by telling them now you cannot use your influence to influence nothing. All right? So everybody's confused. Okay, so people are like, okay, so what's gonna happen? So who's going to be used to do the adverts? Is it AI? That means now you want to add the number of jobless people back to the street again. Now the ones who had gotten jobs for themselves, by themselves, now the government is taking that again away from them, like, yep. And to add on top of it, by the way, the taxes are yay high. Like, taxes are like up there. And that is why all the other brands don't have the capability to use influencers as much as the betting companies. Why? If you look at the FMCGs, the fast-moving consumer goods, some of the SMEs and some corporates, they've withdrawn from doing what they were doing with influencers because the budgets are not budgeting. The taxes are over the roof. Okay? So all the influencers are just there. So what do you want these young people to do? You want them to go back to substance abuse, because when there's no money, there's stress, there's pressure, depression, you know, people look for a way out. So what's gonna happen? Okay? And now that you're saying influencers should not be used, so all their social media pages that they've struggled to build are now useless billboards, okay? But you're still allowing TV and radio and newspaper that you politicians own, yeah, that you politicians own, to still run the same adverts that you don't want these other people to run on their platforms. Brilliant, beautiful, so beautiful, right? Yeah, it's beautiful. Wow. Wow. Just wow. And somewhere you're sitting down and you're thinking, yo, that's the solution. Yeah. We did it. Yeah, you know, we're trying to help the young people. If you wanted to help the young people create jobs, why are they disappearing in gambling and alcohol abuse and everything? Because they are jobless. They don't have purpose. If someone does not have purpose, they distract themselves with pleasure. That is what happens. That is why people are looking for make money quick schemes. Because the government is not working. You're not doing your job. If you did your job, young people will not be doing all these things they're doing. So, instead of going and making sure that someone is busy creating something, whatever they've created for themselves, you're taking away from them again. Government is always shooting itself on the foot. Good luck with that. Personally, I don't support that ban. I think it's useless, it's stupid, it is slow-thinked, if there's a word like that. Sometimes you guys in the government, just think it through. You know, just go like, okay, what if we would find a better way to? What if we would try and, what? You guys don't have what if. It's either your way or the highway. 2027 to go na nyinyi, or actually 2026. We here, baby. We here. Yep, I've made my decision right now. Let's go get it. Let's go get it, man. Yeah. So sad, man. So sad. I'm actually very pissed right now. But it's fine. I'm gonna see you guys on Saturday for my special. Yeah. Come through. See ya.